Everyone, our first guest this year, David Bradley! You keep going. Okay. Do you want that chair? Hello again. You can go there if you want. You can have your own chair. You're a man who commands his own chair, I think.
I think it's we share a couch, there we go.
Oh. David, welcome back.
Hello, hello. Thanks for coming. It's a bigger crowd than I'm used to on a matinee.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a great first crowd.
Yeah.
I think it's one of our biggest morning crowds we've had. It's normally so quiet at this time of day.
You're not just saying that.
No, genuinely.
Yeah, it's true.
I was shocked. I was like, for David. Welcome back. How's life been treating you since you were last here?
Yeah, I haven't been there for about 4 years. I did some filming in the centre of the city with Les Miserables. It was a BBC film, a 4-parter. And I had about 2 or 3 weeks here, and it was just great. So, nice to be back.
Oh, lovely. When did you film that?
About 4 years ago.
Oh my God.
But I've gone to the edge now where someone will say, no, that was 8 years ago. You know? Yeah.
Anything past 2008 is new.
Yeah.
You're constantly working. I don't know how you just do it so much. Whenever I see something you're in, I'm like, this man never stops. You've had it busy 4 years.
Well, it's been really busy. I'm very fortunate. I was going to say lucky, but somebody recently said, you've been lucky, and then somebody else interjected, and she said, no, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And that was like Seneca, an old Roman philosopher. I thought, yeah, that's good. So I always think of that, and I think of, but I've been very fortunate in keeping pretty busy over the last coming up to 60 years.
Yeah, well, because obviously you've done a lot of theatre and stuff as well. Well, I mean, to go way back, when was the moment you realised, I want to be an actor?
When did you realise you wanted to be an actor?
I think once I worked in my home city, New York, and I took an apprenticeship as an engineer. My foreman told me after about 5 years that I was the original square peg. And that was a hint that I was in the wrong sort of job. However, I stayed there for 8 years, and I spent most of my time watching the clock till 5 o'clock in the afternoon came, and would go home and go out and get it some. And that's all I was interested in doing. And then I got involved in an amateur group at a local youth club. And I did Julius Caesar. And I've never seen a Shakespeare play, I've never read Shakespeare, and I just fell in love, and I have been ever since. So I did it as an amateur in various groups around York. And then someone said, you should give up engineering before it gives me up. And this guy said, I'll help you get into drama school. And it took like two and a half years of audition. Kept getting, and the more I got rejected, the more I wanted to do it. So I eventually got into drama school. And I think it was that rejection of being turned down that helped me appreciate more now what I'm doing and what I have been doing. If I'd got in the first time, I might not have appreciated it so much. I might have been a bit lazy, but now I know every time I get a part, I think, why me? You know, they could have had George Clooney.
I've always said I would have loved to see George Clooney as Filch, actually. We were very different. That's beautiful, though. How old were you when you started acting? Were you in your 20s?
When I went to drama school, I was 24, and I started in Sheffield theatre.
Nice.
When I was 26.
Crucible?
And at that time, none of us thought about doing movies or being a film actor, because most of the work was in theatre. And we all wanted to be in the Royal Shakespeare Company or the National Theatre. And I didn't think about film until they came along. So I always liked working with a company, working with people, discussing it. But now it's changed around. So there are more TV companies now, like not only the BBC, but Netflix, of course, and Amazon Prime. And there's less and less theatre work opportunities. To go to a local town and spend a couple of years doing a different play every week, it's hard work, and the money isn't very good. But now there's a lot more opportunities, and people are making, you've got this camera, you can make a movie now with, with a hand camera. But that was unthinkable 50 years ago.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's so crazy how we've got more technology in our pockets to make films now than It's like that flip was so fast.
Yeah.
So fast, and it became so accessible 20 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What was the first film you were in?
First film, I think it was called Brick Up Your Ear with Gary Oldman.
Oh, really?
And I was an undertaker. But I only had one scene, and it was written by Alan Bennett, and I just did one scene. So that was the first.
Did you fall in love with films, or was it just a job?
I was a bit terrified. If it was a long shot with the camera over there, I was okay. But when they said, we're coming in close on you now, David, and the camera would be there, I was thinking, please don't. Just keep it on shot. But now, I'm saying, where's the close-up?
Yeah. Money shot.
And I just love the close-up because that reveals everything. And then you don't get that in theatre. You can be saying I love you, but what you're meaning is I hate you. Because the eyes and the close-up reveal everything.
I remember reading something about how film changed acting as a profession because of that exact thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone had to be so more exaggerated on stage to convey an emotion, and then suddenly you got this sort of intimacy from it.
Yeah.
So did you find coming from theatre to film a different mechanism in terms of acting?
It wasn't too bad. The first few things I saw of myself on TV, I was thinking, why are you pulling that face? Why are you smiling too much? Why are you just doing it? We say less is best. It's an adjustment. And I think a lot of actors find it a bit of a tricky maneuver because it's easier if you do stage work and bring it down rather than start off doing a film and then being generous enough to share a story. It's all it is, storytelling. And it's harder. That's why if any students ask me now, and we do occasionally, which is the best, I would say start off, get some theatre experience, because that's how you learn to communicate with an audience. And filming is the same, but you let the camera find you rather than you going out selling a story on stage.
But there's no retakes in theatre. theatre is, you're there, you're in front of people, and if it goes wrong, you have to deal with it. Whereas film, you can stop the camera, you can do it again.
Yeah. And in the old days, don't listen to me, all the old days, you used to have to, you get towards the end of a scene, and then you'd mess it up, and you have to set up and do the whole thing again. But now they just say, the director will say, just pick it up from the previous line. And so what you've done, that's all. Okay. So it's a lot easier. But I think when I did the Doctor Who, making of Doctor Who, you'd hear stories about the actors in that. They were only allowed one camera stop in the whole episode. And if you missed your line, someone else had to come in with your line, or just make it up and improvise.
Wow.
Yeah. And they had massive cables all over the floors, out of because the cameras were like fridge freezers, huge. And now it's all like you can get handheld or something like this, or and it's much easier, much more relaxing now. Because if you do screw up, you just pick it up.
I was talking to your friend backstage. Said you're both in a band.
Sorry?
I heard that you're in a band and you sing.
Oh.
I'd like to sing. How have you found, because obviously you did Les Mis for the BBC. Do you enjoy doing musical theatre or musical theatre for
I've never done a musical professionally.
Would you?
No, I just like singing.
Would you ever combine those loves?
Yeah, well, yeah, nobody's ever paid me to sing, let's say.
That's
David Bradley wants to be on a musical. Tweet it now.
So it's a one for the money.
If you could play anyone in a musical, who would you want to play?
Yeah, who would you want to play in a biopic?
Well, I get mistaken a lot for Willie Nelson.
Great, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And I met a guy at Venice Airport. I was seeing my wife off, and this guy came up and said, "Hey, you're the man." I said, who are you thinking? He said, "Willie Nelson." I said, I wish I had his money. And he said, no, can't fool me, you're Willie. I said, I'm really not. And he went on so much, so I said, okay, I'm Willie Nelson. He shook his hand. He went off happy thinking he'd met Willie Nelson. And when I got back home, he was on the concert from 9/11, and he was the headliner from Central Park. And I thought, he looks older than God. And I thought, but what a great face. So, and it's happened at Abbey Road Studios as well. I was going to this home for a film of Pinocchio. And because there's always a lot of tourists in Abbey Road, either outside the studios or during the secret crossing. And these two American ladies who were so convinced I was Willie Nelson. So I'd be happy to do a biopic about him.
Yeah.
I love how they're meeting you and then they hear your northern accent and they go, yeah, that's Willie Nelson from the north of England. Brilliant. I'm glad you brought up Pinocchio as well, because I love Pinocchio.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was really moving. Did you feel that when you were recording?
Well, I knew it was going to be good because it was the great Guillermo del Toro.
Oh no, one of the best directors.
Yeah, because I'd worked with him on The Strain in Canada and New York. And I just finished doing Frankenstein, which is coming out.
I was so excited, brother. I'm so excited to see what that is.
Yeah, it's coming out later this year. So, yeah, but playing Geppetto, I got to go to the Oscars and we won the Oscars, and it's very exciting working with him anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's a genius, yeah.
Did you get to go to his house?
Never been to his house.
Because he's got like it's basically a cabinet of curiosities, isn't it?
Yes, I gather. But I don't know which house he's talking about, because he's got a few.
I mean, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. No, but he's great company and he's great. And if he likes you, you know, a lot of directors say, oh, we must work together again, and you never hear from them. Yeah. Well, we've done it 4 times now, and so I'm very excited about Frankenstein.
I'm so excited. When I saw it was Guillermo del Toro and I saw the cast, I was just like, oh my god. Yeah. It's going to be perfect. We are going to open the floor to questions in a second. I've just seen the time. So if you do have a question for David, raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Don't be shy. Everyone's shy in the morning.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is.
Anyone got a question for David? Because otherwise I have a million, so don't worry.
I've got one. Obviously, as you say, the first film you're in was with Gary Oldman. You've had all these other films. Have you ever been starstruck?
Ooh.
Because people get starstruck meeting you, but who do you get starstruck by?
Yeah.
Gary Newman.
Well, I worked with Laurence Olivier for the National. He was my boss. And I was always terrified, you know, saying the wrong thing. Because he was like arguably the greatest actor in the world and he was my boss. And I was talking to Maggie Smith, I just popped her name, sorry. on the Harry Potter set. And I was telling her about, because she worked there at the same time. And she said, oh, I was the same. So I didn't know what to say to him, you know. And I thought with Maggie Smith was nervous about him. And then I worked with Michael Caine on Harry Pound. And I was a bit starstruck with him. But he was so down to earth. None of this, I'm Sir Michael. Hello, I'm Mike, hello. What are you doing? What are you up to, mate? Yeah. And you're supposed to blow the bloody doors off, you know. And you want when you meet him, you want to do his voice. You know, you want to say, don't do it.
I imagine he does that all the time. It's so addictive doing Michael Caine. Bloody hell. Any questions? Get your hand up. Oh, straight away. Go for it.
Do you have a cat like Mrs. Norris?
Do you have a cat like Mrs. Norris?
No, we used to have 4 cats. One, Stan, he was a bit like Mrs. Norris, but he wasn't the same breed. Because they're big cats, they're called Maine Coon. And you have to keep them in the house because people steal them. You know, they're so sought after. But the cat I had for Mrs. Norris was great, really. Because a cat knows if you're a cat person. If you're not a cat person, they won't come near you. But Mrs. Norris, which would sit on my lap or stand on my head, or, you know, we got very fond of each other.
Was it the same cat all the way through?
No, we had 2, Max and Alana, one male, one female, but they were identical. And if one was asleep or was eating, they get the other one. But they were both very good. What they did, I'll tell you this, to get the cat to follow me around, which he was supposed to do, they had a clicker in my boot. And somebody would be off camera with a remote control, making my boot click. And the cat would follow me because he knew when the click went, food was on its way. So every time we finished a take, someone would come in with a little tray and they'd make the clicking noise and the cat would eat. And they knew there was a treat coming, so it would follow me. Because the camera couldn't hear the click. That was
I was going to say, about how many people on set were like, what's wrong with Dave's ankle? Questions? Yeah, we'll start getting round. Yeah, come over.
Hi. My question would be, what was your favorite moment during Harry Potter series? Like, I wanted to ask about Norris as well, but my question got taken away. So my question is, what's your favorite moment during the Harry Potter series?
What was your favourite moment filming Harry Potter?
I think probably when I burst through the crowd of kids and shout, "You murder monster! I'll kill ya! I'll kill ya!" Because my daughter, who was then age 13, she came to visit me on the set, and she was stood behind the camera. And Chris Columbus, the director, said, "Is that your daughter?" I said, "Yeah." "Does she want to be in the movie?" I said, "You bet, you know." So they got her a costume, a Gryffindor costume, and they put her in the, among the crowd of kids when I burst through. So when we saw the premiere, as I pushed through, her little head popped up, and she had a moment. So it was lovely. I loved it. She had a great time.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's amazing. We had questions down here. Yeah, we'll get back to you, don't worry.
Hello.
Hello.
I was wondering, when choosing what kind of role you play, are there certain criteria when you read the script, whether you want, or do you just say, I'll give it everything a go?
What?
So how do you choose which role you take?
Oh yeah. How do you choose which role you pick?
I don't. I just, whatever's on offer. The only thing I ask is if the writing is good. If it's good writing, I would say there's no such thing as small part. If the writing is good, I'll do a day or 2 days, because if it's something that has a kind of truth, an emotional truth, then I'll do it. And I love it when it's something totally different from what I do before. I mean, going from playing Walter Frey to playing Ricky Gervais's dad, you couldn't be more different. And I asked Ricky on the first day after live, I said, "Why did you pick me to be your dad?" He said, "I saw Game of Thrones." I said, "But Walter Frey something like that." But he didn't, he just took a chance, yeah. And he was just great. He's probably my favourite thing, working with him. Because, you know, he could have found somebody more like his dad, or not somebody like Walter Frey, because I don't know where that came from. But I admired him for taking a chance, you know.
Have you ever turned down a role, or not been? Have you ever turned down a role, or said no to something you wish you'd said yes to?
Not really. No, that's why I kept working probably. Yeah. I can't remember the last. And occasionally you get something, and you know within a page that the writing not good.
Right.
And sometimes I think, oh, not another old man who's on his deathbed. You think, have I done that? So,
How many times can you die?
Yeah. Well, I've died. I was thinking if I had a gravestone, I'd want, I have died many times, but never quite like this. Because my daughter said to me when she was about 5, she was watching, she said, "Dad, why are you always dying?" You know, I don't want her to grow up thinking, that's what I do a good death.
Is there a role you wish you'd turned down?
Well, that's a good question. But
Tell me backstage.
no, I can't think of anything, to be honest.
Then you've had a good career. That's a mark of someone who's made one.
It's been good to me, and I still enjoy doing it, you know.
Yeah. Is there anything you nearly got? Like,
the full Monty.
really?
Yeah, I got down to the last 2. And then, so when Harry Potter came along, my kids were saying, "You've got to get this, you've got to." They put real pressure on me. And I got turned down for a Superman film.
Really?
But it was a 5th one or something, and it wasn't great. But it's your kids who put pressure on you, you know.
I'm glad they weren't putting pressure on you to be in the full Monty. That would have been very strange.
You have to be a stripper. So.
Yeah, I know. I think my friend, when it came out, I said, oh Dad, I'm so glad you didn't get that.
We have a question over here.
Hello, thanks for coming. I would like to know if you got some present or from the set.
Yeah, did you get anything from the set? Oh, you seen Harry Potter?
Or Game of Thrones.
Or Game of Thrones. Have you got any props that you've stolen, essentially?
Not stolen.
Toro.
The chair, you know, where you got a chair with your name on it.
Oh, can we get the green mic up? I think we just need to get the mic to you. We'll just go a few. Is that coming through okay? Yes, fine.
Yeah, I got the chair.
You got the chair from Game of Thrones?
No, I didn't get anything from Game of Thrones. And I was offered the big silver sword after the strain. Because it was a Guinness Book of Records for beheading people. I should have won it because I beheaded so many vampires in the strain. And the producer offered me the sword, massive. And my wife said, I'm not having that in the house. So I didn't take it.
She's going to regret that when a vampire turns up.
I thought, well, do I want to stay married? Yeah. So I couldn't have that.
I mean, if you try to get it through customs, you might not be going home anyway, so...
Yeah, that's right. But I got the one of the original puppets from Pinocchio.
Oh, wow.
The Geppetto. And it's one that was used in the animation. Because when we won the Oscar, Guillermo got the Oscar. And of course I was just one of the voices. So I said, can I have the Geppetto puppet? So I've got that.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, stop motion puppets as well are just so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so good. Any more questions before we let David go? Can we get the microphone just to get it's coming your way? Any more? Just give me a hand so I can see if... Alright, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 and we're out.
Hi, first of all, thank you for coming. My question is, what is the craziest or funniest experience you had with a fan or someone you would work with?
Was it your best experience with a fan?
Craziest or funniest?
What's your funniest experience with meeting a fan?
Meeting a fan? I met 2 young ladies from Japan recently.
Sounds like a setup for a joke. Sounds like a setup for a joke.
Well, it's true. And they said, they stopped in the streets, excuse me, can we have a picture?
They went, oh, Willie Nelson.
So I said, yeah, okay. Where do you want me? In the middle? She said, no, you take a picture of me and my friend.
Yes, please. We had a question, what was it? Yeah, forget it, and then we're going to come around. You'll be last, don't worry. Okay.
Morning.
Morning.
Thank you for also your many great achievements and enjoy. I was wondering, which of your many roles you took is your favorite? Which did you enjoy the most of everything you did?
Of all of your roles that you've done, what's your favourite?
Well, I enjoyed playing the original Doctor Who in Adventure in Space and Time. I think working with Ricky Gervais on Afterlife was probably up there with the best. But when I say that, I think of Game of Thrones, I think, there have been so many really good experiences particularly over the last 10, 15 years on film. But I had so many years in the theatre doing Shakespeare and touring the world with King Lear and stuff like that. You know, so many. I was talking to Brian Cox day before yesterday. I was in London. We were doing the E-Day and I did a character in Dad's Army. We did a sketch. near Buckingham Palace, and the King was there, Prince William, and Brian Cox was doing a bit.
Sorry, yesterday you were hanging out with Brian Cox and the King
Yeah.
of Britain.
Yeah, just casually with the King of Britain and Brian Cox. We all did it yesterday.
I'm gonna have trouble moving away from me. I've dropped so many names. And Brian and I were talking about when we toured the world 30 years ago, and it all comes buzzing back, great experiences, you know. A lot of them are theatre, but that's, theatre's written in water, we say. It only lives in the memory, but you only have to put your TV on and watch stuff that you've done, like Potter, Game of Thrones, and it's there forever, which is really nice.
Yeah, beautiful. It's beautiful. And a testament to that is how many people it touches who come out.
Well, that's great, you know, especially somebody, this young man here, they watch stuff that you've done, and it's really touching, and you think it'll hopefully be shown long after I've gone, and it's always like Star Wars or something, it'll always be there, and that's very gratifying. And it's just great having young people who enjoy your work just as much as others. It's very touching.
We've got 2 questions and then we will let you go. Can we get the microphone down here? And then it'll be you next.
Hello. Sorry if you said before, but I didn't get it clearly. Did you get anything from the puppet set?
From the what set?
From the puppet set.
Oh yeah, so you didn't get anything from Harry Potter, did you?
No, I got a wand, but I had to buy it.
So you went to the Harry Potter shop?
Because, because Phillips didn't have a wand, so as you know, he was a squid. So I got a really nice wand. But yeah, apart from the, sometimes you do something and you think, oh, I'll have that jacket or that hat, like the Doctor Who hat I've got. But there's nothing that Filch wore that I would dream of taking home with me. so that was it. Just a chair with my name on it.
It's good. Can we get the microphone over to this young gentleman in the red, please? You are the last question, so yeah, come forward, yeah.
My question is, who was your favorite actor to work with on set?
Is that specifically Harry Potter?
Any film, any show.
I'll tell you, Michael Gambon, who played Dumbledore, the second Dumbledore after Richard Howard's time, because we worked together way back in the 40 years ago on stage, and he's such a naughty man. He would do anything to make you laugh. And I remember one scene we were doing in Harry Potter, and me and Michael and Alan Rickman playing, and all the kids were asleep in the hall because the Dementors were coming, and it was like, so they all had to sleep on sleeping bags. And we're walking through the hall, and it's dead quiet, and suddenly I heard this little fart noise. And then it happened again, and everybody looked at Daniel Radcliffe, because that's where it was coming from. And Michael Gambon, he slipped a fart machine underneath Daniel's pillow, and he was on the remote doing it. And Daniel, when everybody was, all these awful kids all shaking with laughter, and Daniel just jumped up and says, "Jump on! You!" And he knew it was Michael because he was always doing practical jokes. He would do that kind of thing. So not only was Michael Gambon a brilliant actor, he was great fun.
You know that's on YouTube?
Is it?
Yeah, I saw it recently.
Really?
Yeah. There's someone must have got it from the behind the scenes, so if you ever want to watch that again, you can.
Alright.
yeah. You should, it's very funny. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I saw it really recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh good.
Yeah, that's
Oh
brilliant.
good. I'm glad Michael's immortalised in that way. It's what you would have wanted.
There is nothing funnier than a well-placed fart machine.
No, I've got one of my own.
I've got one, I carry it with me all the time, don't worry. It's attached. David, we're going to have to let you go, unfortunately. This has been amazing. We'd like to get a picture with all our guests, if that's all right, with everyone behind. So thank you so much for all your questions. We're going to get a picture of David, you'll all be in it. So give us a nice smile.
Okay, everyone, cheers!
And then, there we go, everybody, you know what to do. What a first guest. What an incredible first guest. David, are you going to be here all weekend? You're here all weekend. Just kidding, he's only here today, so if you want to see David, he's in the other room, please go see him. Honestly, just get him to sign everything. Get to sign your face. Just always a pleasure.